Hey, Fox News, I want to tell you about, thank you, Joel. This morning, a huge change coming to SeaWorld after years of protests and backlash against their killer whale program.
In captivity, the animals are squeezed into very close proximity.
And they say that they're a family, that the whales are in their family. They have their pods, but that's just, an artificial assemblage of their collection, however management decides they should mix them, and whichever ones happen to be born or bought and brought in. That's not a family, come on.
Well, SeaWorld has a big announcement this morning, and Joel Manby, the CEO of SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, joins us today, along with Wayne Pacelli of the Humane Society of the United States. Joel, we'll start with you. What's your big announcement?
Well, thanks, Steve. We have three big announcements this morning. The first is that we are taking our current population of killer whales, and they will be our last generation of killer whales at SeaWorld. So we're phasing them out over time. So it'll take decades to do this, but we will not have any more of them. And then secondly, we're announcing an all-new orca encounter. So it's an inspiring, more natural encounter with the orcas. You learn how they hunt, how they play, and so forth.
So you watch them rather than having them perform?
They will still be there,
okay.
But it'll be much more educational, and you'll learn about the plight of the killer whales in the wild as opposed to a theatrical show. And then thirdly, we're announcing this new partnership with the Humane Society of the United States. And we have been, you imagine that, we've been adversaries for 20 years. And instead of monologuing and fighting each other, we're going to work together to save animals in the wild. And to amplify that, $50 million we're investing over 5 years to be the world's largest rescue organization. We rescue 7 animals a day. And
Why are you doing this now?
That's a good question. It's because society has shifted, and I think as I've come in as the new CEO, more and more people are becoming uncomfortable with these very large, majestic animals under human care, and a lot of factors have influenced that, and I just felt we needed to move forward. The new millennial generation, they love animals, they love conservation. That's what we're about. SeaWorld is about that, and people need to know that.
It's the closest you're ever going to get to animals like this and to whales specifically. But, Wayne, in the big picture, you have not gotten a whale for decades, right? I mean, these are whales who are breeding in...
Yeah, no, SeaWorld stopped taking them from the wild some time ago, so they've been adding to the population through captive breeding. And I think SeaWorld's announcement today essentially says we're going to stop the captive breeding, we're going to sunset this aspect of what SeaWorld does. And frankly, I think it was blocking, and I think Joel would concede this, it was blocking people from seeing the larger enterprise. There was such a controversy over the keeping of these animals. These are long-lived animals. They live in family groups. They swim for tens of miles a day. And I think after Blackfish, we saw so many people questioning whether that was appropriate. Now, there are good people who fall on both sides of that, but I think there's no question that this was blocking a larger consideration.
And Joel, the way you set it up, the two of you have been adversaries for a while, and so for you to both be on the couch today, that says a lot about the steps that SeaWorld's taking.
I just think it's important that what's really suffering is animals in the wild. Our company is all about communicating to people. We have 20 million guests a year, 20,000 employees. If we teach them about the plight of animals in the wild, and we can be an army to help them, which we can be, then why not join forces? We both love animals.
I think it's amazing that you're doing this, but let's be honest. SeaWorld is still a business, and families are going to SeaWorld to see Shamu. That's why we went there as a family. I know times have changed, but what are you going to do to bring in those families and replace Shamu?
And Shamu is one of the reasons they come to SeaWorld. However, first of all, they're going to be there for a long, long time, really decades. And with a new orca encounter, for decades, families can still see them. That gives us a lot of time to introduce new things, new ideas. Secondly, what we're doing very differently is we're interjecting our great animal care and our story into rise attractions like Mako. We're introducing Mako in Orlando. It is the tallest, longest, faster coaster in Orlando, but we're putting in a message about sharks going extinct and finning, which you cut off these sharks, they're thrown into the water to die a horrific death. We're going to sell paintings by Guy Harvey there to, the guests can donate to this cause. So here's a ride, and it's fun for families, but they still learn to help animals in the wild. I think that's what we need to be about.
Wayne, is this really what you want to get across? You're happy with this?
I am. I'm very happy. We talk at the Humane Society about building a humane economy where we marry our business and our commerce with our values. We're supposed to have our values infuse everything that we do. And, you know, a year ago, Ringling announced that it's not going to be using elephants in its traveling eggs. In the last 6 months, we've had 75 announcements, McDonald's, Cracker Barrel, Kroger, the biggest names in food retail, saying they're going to source their eggs from farming operations that don't confine the hens. We're seeing across different sectors of the economy more concern for animal welfare. And I think SeaWorld, in the kind of live entertainment with animals business, has stepped forward in a big way, and we at the Humane Society celebrate that.
Times are a-changing. All right, Wayne and
so
Joel,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
And hope you get long lines so they continue at SeaWorld in
100%.
Florida and in California.